Hello everybody and welcome back. Root Beer here, looking at question A2 on our 2016 Canadian Open paper. So let's take a look at this little question. Hopefully it'll be nice. Hopefully it won't be too hard. It is of course worth only 4 marks. A square is inscribed in a circle as shown in the figure. If the area of the circle is 16 pi centimeters squared, and the area of the square is s centimeters squared, what is the value of s? Okay, well let's just copy down this picture. Now they're talking about areas. How do we figure out areas for circles, and how do we figure out areas for squares? Well, for a square, the most common way to do it is to figure out a side length. You know, s, well they have got a capital S. I'm thinking little s, but how about we change it to an x? So s is x squared. If only I could figure out what x is. Well, how do we figure out the area of a circle, right? Well, we would use a radius. Now, you can draw just about any radius you want here, but a meaningful one will interact with the square in some way. So we might connect up to one of the corners, because being inscribed in the circle means the corners of the squares will touch. The corners of the square will touch or intersect with the circle. So we can put the radius there. Now, we know 16 pi is the area of the circle, but how do we figure out the area of a circle? Well, it's pi r squared. So 16 is r squared. R is going to be 4 centimeters, quite specifically. Okay, how can I relate r to x? I mean, they're now both sort of inside the square, and so we could actually draw another radius, and so then we'd get the diameter of the circle is 2r, but notice that this is a diagonal of the square. And squares have little right angles at their corners, so we've got an x, 2r sort of situation. So x squared plus x squared is 2r squared. Okay. Now I know r squared is 16. Now I also know r is 4, but we could just say, well, r squared is 16, so this is 2 times 16, or 32. So, oh, sorry, 2r squared. Silly me. So I guess we could just use r as, well, so it's 8 squared, it's going to be 64. And over on the other side, we've got x squared plus x squared. That's just 2x squared. So 2x squared is 64. X squared is going to be 32. Now you could square root it and say x is 4 root 2. So root 32, 4 root 2. But what are we trying to figure out? We're trying to figure out the area S, and that's just x squared. So we've got our final answer. It's 32. S is 32. And that's what we would write in the space provided. And that's really all that matters, but we have shown our work if we need to. And of course, you might, if you're serious about leaving and showing your work and giving things with part marks, you might want to say, well, you know, this is the diagonal. You definitely want to be using sentences and descriptions rather than just sort of vomiting a whole bunch of equations on the page. Oftentimes, a well-presented solution is a mixture of both what I write down and the things that I say and I'm trying to explain verbally to you. Okay? I just don't want a silent video for 8 minutes as I write down full sentences. That's boring for everyone to watch. Okay? So, up next will be A3. I will see you for more of our open paper in the next video.